This week, we recap our journey to James Island County Park in the Charleston area. We talk about some luxury items that you all travel with that maybe you don't need but are fun to have anyways. And we talk about our latest internet setup that we're really happy with. That and a whole lot more on this episode of RV Miles. RV Miles is sponsored by LL Bean, dedicated to helping you experience all the benefits of time outside and stay more comfortable while you're out there. From soft and breathable activewear designed to do it all, to just right layers perfect for changing weather, to sun-smart clothing that blocks the sun's harmful rays, every LL Bean product is made with comfortable time outside in mind. Visit llbean.com to shop now. LL Bean, be an outsider. Welcome to episode 196 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby, and we are two full-time travelers who, along with our boys, Jack, Ethan, and Henry, are crisscrossing North America on one epic road trip. Each week we talk all things RV and outdoors, from travel destinations to gear, industry news, our national parks, and a whole lot more.
We are finishing up our time in the Charleston, South Carolina area where we've just had a blast. This is really a cool place. And today on the episode, we're going to talk about the first half of our time in Charleston, which was James Island County Park, a really cool place that we actually didn't leave very much.
We left twice to go to a pizza place and Trader Joe's. That's the only time we left this campground because we enjoyed it so much. So that will be what we talk about today. And then next week, we'll cover a little bit more of what we did in Charleston, including Fort Sumter and this National Forest campground that we are recording from today.
We want to put something on your radar. We're making some changes to the See America world. We have the See America podcast that we've been doing. Well, now we're on our 7th season, the
Yes.
10 episode seasons. We're halfway through our 7th season, and we've been loving doing it, but we've felt that it could be something bigger. So we want you to follow See America on Facebook and Instagram and make sure you're subscribed to that podcast because there are some changes coming down to the pike, and we're going to be secretive about it, but it's going to be a really big deal that we're very excited about.
Yeah, we're vague booking this a little bit just because we're not fully ready to roll it out. But, something else I wanted to mention that we don't have to vague book about, but I think we should celebrate it, is that we welcomed a new team member to the RV Miles community. And we just want to welcome Kelsey, who has come on to help Jason and I create more content, better content to grow the RV community. Something we are really, really keen on doing is fostering a sense of community, be that in the virtual world or the real world at the campground. And we are so excited to have Kelsey with us. We worked with Kelsey back in Chicago Theater, so we're just thrilled that they are joining us.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange and interesting time for us. We're really excited to be able to sort of build on what we do and make it something a little bit bigger than us. And you all know that our whole thing here is trying to create content that gives you a lot of information that is free and available to anybody. It's supported by our sponsors who we really love and appreciate and who make it all happen. We try to make sure that it can be all sponsor generated so that we don't have to charge you all anything. Nothing wrong with anybody that does that. But
no shame in however you do your game.
But this is how we do it, and we hope that you all appreciate that, and that's sort of what we're here to do. So make sure to check out our sponsors whenever you have the chance. We'd really appreciate it. Let's talk about luxury items. Our friend Joshua Sheehan posted in the RV Miles Facebook group a really interesting conversation starting question, and it was, what kind of luxury items do you travel with? The things that other people might not expect that you would be traveling with,
or just things that feel luxury to you. I mean, it doesn't have to be a big expensive item. It can be as simple as having air conditioning, which was one of the responses. Going from tent camping to an RV isn't having air conditioning quite the luxury.
Does traveling with your child's electronic drum set count? Is that a luxury item?
Well, considering that we left it in Nana and Papa's basement, I'm not so sure we thought
we're going to get it with the new RV. It's going to happen.
Yeah, so some of the things that people, this was like Jason said, over in our RV Miles Facebook group. And I just thought the responses were so much fun. So we had things like a washer dryer combo. I can absolutely see that feeling like a luxury item. We have certainly been going back and forth on whether or not we are going to do that. Right now, we are camp not happening, because we want the storage space.
Yeah. I think the biggest detractor for us on the RV we're getting, this is something you have to think about, not to get away from this conversation, but the RV we're getting, the washer and dryer hookup drains into the black tank instead of the gray. And I think that's the biggest reason for us that we're not going to do it.
Yeah, and we've also been discussing whether or not the composting toilet has come back up into the discussion. So
of course, if that happened, then it wouldn't matter.
We'd just be gray all day. So another one, and I loved this, was a comment that said, after 25 years of using coolers and getting ice every 2 days in the pop-up, the refrigerator is a luxury item. Again, it doesn't have to be this big, giant, expensive thing. We've got a bidet. Yeah, that is super luxury. I also love this other response. Right now, could be gasoline. Gasoline could be a luxury item right now. Ice maker made the list several times.
A lot of people love traveling with ice makers. We have never been, I mean, we use ice, but we've never been like huge ice people, like have to fill every drink up with ice.
Well, we weren't, because it was such a hassle. I mean, I would, as one who is the primary ice filler of our house, ice tray filler.
We do the ice trays.
Yes, I can see where an ice maker would be so luxury, because for some reason you all like to leave 2 little ice cubes.
Well, yeah, it's wasteful. You don't want to get rid of them.
But nobody fills it back up. And when you only have 2 trays and 5 people.
See, I like to fill it up because I don't
day.
like the way other people fill it up. So I do like to fill it up, but I do not like to fill it up when there are other cubes in there.
So other items were a bathroom. I love that. It's luxury to have your bathroom. You don't have to go off to the bathhouse. You're all right. Everything you need is right there. Maybe you got your bidet in there. Another thing was an electric fireplace. So in lieu of heating the entire trailer, to keep my 80-year-old mom comfortable, the fireplace heats her area just fine and allows our bedroom to remain cool the way we prefer. I absolutely love that. Someone mentioned their Brooklyn bedding mattress. A 12-volt fan. 12-volt fans are fantastic.
Yeah, and you can, and they're fantastic fans is one of the brands that you can get.
I know.
But a simple upgrade from not only, you can get a portable one, but a simple upgrade from the cheap one that they might have put in your rig to a quality Max Air or a fantastic fan can cool you down quite a bit without turning the air conditioner on.
I also love that I was not the only one that mentioned this, but an Instant Pot. An Instant Pot feels very luxury for those of us that need to make large meals or want to make meals quickly.
I thought we were going to be talking about fur coats and stuff here.
Oh, sweetheart. We are a simple group over at the RV Miles. It's just the simple things in life that make people happy, like a walk-around bed. No. How much can you not wait to have a bed that you can walk around? That will feel so luxury.
It will be nice. It's the end of the bed. Right now, our issue is that there is a wall at the end of our bed. We can access either side of it through 2 separate pocket doors, but my feet hit that end of the bed, and it is probably the thing I dislike the most about our current situation.
We had heated massage chairs.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, look, let's give it to Don. He said, my wife. That's his luxury item. Oh, look, cha-ching, that's a little point right there. Of course, there were several shouts out for the dishwasher. I imagine that feels very, very luxury. We had one in the bus, do you remember?
Yeah.
And it was excellent storage.
It was excellent storage.
We
never hooked it up. So.
We never. And one more thing, and then we can move on. Of course, there was, again, sound bar and having, someone mentioned the little Bose Mini speaker like my dad has, and then the Nespresso machine. I got to investigate that a little bit more because I have plans for a coffee bar, so you are aware. I've already staked it out. So there might be multiple ways that we can get our caffeine in the morning.
I do want to say that a lot of mentions of the mattress, and that is probably one of the great, if you're going to spend a lot of time in your RV, I'll say that I think that's the best upgrade that we have made over time is buying a real quality mattress. Nothing beats doing that.
No, absolutely. And again, that's something we're going to be discussing and shopping here in the very future. And I'm going to kind of miss our mattress that we have
Yeah,
right now. That
there's
one
an
has been
issue
solid.
with the new trailer too, because
Yeah.
the one of the slides closes over the mattress, so we only have a
Yeah.
wee amount.
We're going to be very, very limited. So this was a really fun conversation to have. So thank you to Joshua for sharing that. You should go over and check out his YouTube channel. It's fantastic. He is Gander Flight. That's where you can find him. And he really does some great like how to just DIY videos that just kind of make you think and kind of answer some questions about RV life. But this was a great question he asked here in the RV Miles Facebook group. And if you want to participate, then come on over to the group and join us.
We'll be right back to talk about James Island County Park and with the answer to last week's brain teaser.
Be right back.
FMCA is the world's largest nonprofit RV club, and every year they host 2 international conventions. Coming up, Gillette, Wyoming is going to be very exciting. July 7th through July 10th, 2021, the spring convention. It's named the Spirit of Wyoming. You can camp on the grounds for the entire event, and it's sort of like a combination between a big RV show and a community event with lots of education and entertainment, and everyone is welcome. You do not need to be an FMCA member or even an RV owner to attend. You can find products and services that you need for the RVing lifestyle, tour the latest RVs, one of which might be your next, and soak up RVing knowledge at more than 100 educational seminars. Enjoy daytime and evening entertainment, including big name music like Three Dog Night. FMCA events are also great for networking and meeting other RVers. FMCA is currently running a membership promotion that is $60 for 1 year of membership or $50 for 1 year of renewal. With the code 1YEAR, all one word, you save 30% instantly. But hurry, this is a limited time offer and it ends July 6th at midnight. RV season is here, but the change of seasons also brings rain, mud, pollen, and other elements that you have to waste your time cleaning, or worse, that can end up damaging your vehicle. Whether you own a motorhome, a travel trailer, or a truck camper, EmpireCovers.com is here to help you protect all your vehicles against Mother Nature. EmpireCovers.com offers high-quality, affordable covers that are engineered to protect. Every cover comes with a free warranty to guarantee that it remains durable over time. If you're not in need of a full cover, Empire has just launched a line of RV rooftop covers that keep the roof of your RV clean and protect it from UV rays. RV Miles listeners can receive free shipping plus an extra 15% off their entire order. Visit EmpireCovers.com/RVMiles or use the promo code RVMiles at checkout. It's time for the answer to last week's brain teaser, which went like this. I have one, you have one. If you remove the first letter, a bit remains. If you remove the second, bit still remains. After much trying, you might be able to remove the third one also, but it remains. It dies hard. The answer is habit.
We had a lot of people answer this one. They liked this one.
So if you remove the first letter, it's a bit. If
Yes.
you remove the second, bit still remains, which was very awkward for me to say.
Yes, you had to record that one last week a couple of times.
I was like, I don't understand this.
I know. I said you have to say it exactly the way it's written or it will not work.
After much trying, you remove the third one also, but it remains. It dies hard as a habit dies hard. Interesting.
Yes.
We'll have a new brain teaser later on in the show, but now it's time to talk about James Island County Campground. Now, we don't normally do like a whole segment on just a campground, but this is it's a county park. It's not just a campground. It's a park that is really, really interesting, and it really soaked up a heck of a lot of our time because we just had a great experience there.
Well, we wanted to get our money's worth.
It was expensive. It is about 7 miles away from downtown Charleston,
Yes.
and 7 miles is a long way in Charleston.
Yeah, that is still about a half an hour.
And it's a little over $65 a night for a county park.
It was. But here are some of the things that you get with this experience. And I think that this is why we opted to stay. First off, the kids loved it. So each site is full hookups. There you go. Bonus if you want to get on hookups for a while. There is a playground within walking distance. The the neighborhood playground. I mean, this is really a community used county park. I mean, now the campground itself is only for those who are staying there, but once you just walk a little ways out of the campground, you're in the county park. There's ponds and playgrounds, and you can do boat rentals, and they have a water park, and there are events that go on, and it really feels like you're a part of the James Island community, and it was just a lot of fun. So we wanted to stay there. We really didn't want to leave the whole time. And part of that was because they do just set up such a nice atmosphere. There are also, we should mention, there's trails in the park itself. And they're, about 2 miles each trail. They're color coded, and you can get out there and go for a walk every single day, which we did.
2 miles is just like the perfect length for like an evening stroll.
Yes. Well, for our family.
Yeah.
I think, the kids start asking around like the first mile, like how much longer. But some of these walks took us past what we called magic trees, which are these incredibly beautiful and old trees that just feel so South Carolina. The stump of the tree, comes out as one piece, but then it starts to just branch.
Yeah, there might be like 8 trunks coming from the
Yeah,
stump.
it's so beautiful, and they're old and they're big, and they were dotted all along these walks.
You want to hang like lanterns in all of them,
yes,
right?
Yes, I want to have afternoon tea under one. Like, I felt the need to just wear sundresses the whole time we've been here in South Carolina.
But then you can go walk up to fishing piers out over the water and over marshes, and it's just a lovely collection of sort of an ecosystem of marshland, but then like real big quality lawns and picnic areas and ponds and all that sort of stuff.
Now, if we're talking, and let's just talk about the campground for a minute. There are some things about the campground that could be considered negatives. One of that being that there's not a lot of privacy between sites.
It's better than a lot of private parks, but in some sites are better than others. But a lot of sites, as your black tank either last week or 2 weeks ago, was these Y-shaped sites.
Yeah.
And a lot of these sites here are these sort of Y-shaped sites where you both have the same common driveway, and then it splits off a little bit, but not very much.
And some of the sites that were Y-shaped like that offered no sort of privacy between the two campsites. We lucked out and had a nice big tree between us and our neighbor, and also we put up our clam. Amazingly, we found space to put the clam up, and I think that helped as well. But I did notice when we were walking around, and there's 2 loops to this campground, that when we were walking around, a lot of these Y-shaped actually just looked like big giant squares that they had just turned into 2 campsites. That said, there were some other sites that I wrote down and took note of because they were beautiful and big and private. And that's another thing. The park is big rig friendly for the most part.
Lengthwise, I think that most of the sites are fairly big rig friendly. I have a few concerns about some of the roads in there and the tree heights.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I obviously, like, deliveries happen on those roads and everything. So
Well, actually someone asked us that on Instagram. I think it was Instagram. They asked, what is the last time we were there, we were hitting trees with our fifth wheel. Did they finally trim the trees down? So that's clearly been an issue in the past. Now, we can't speak to it because we just had the travel trailer and we didn't have any issue whatsoever. But that has clearly been an issue, that whatever that road is going to get into the campground. Yeah. And those, I will say that about those roads. Once you get off the highway and you have to come in, those are some thin roads. Roads here are tiny.
It's early American tiny roads.
Yeah, they're not made for big trucks and big camper
But we
trailers.
did it. I mean, we're
did it. We were
38
fine.
feet with the truck in front of it, and we did it.
We were fine. And we just said, hey, we're taking this left, and y'all are just going to have to wait a minute because it's happening. Another thing, too, again, we talked about this a little bit, is everything's pretty open in the campground. Again, there's not a lot of privacy between you and your neighbor. There's not a ton of space between, you and your neighbor across from you. So things stay pretty busy. They stay pretty noisy. I mean, everyone's really good about being quiet during quiet hours, but it's a very, very active campground.
Yeah, there's like the laundry is outside,
Oh,
so which is kind of
yes.
cool, but it's also it's out in the open for people to
Yes.
talk and meander and hear the washing machines.
And it's a little expensive. It's $2 to wash, $2 to dry. And unfortunately, a $2 dry was not enough for my very simple load of
That
towels, which
seems to
was
be a more and more common thing that the one
Yes.
dry cycle is not enough for anything.
I always check the lint traps before I start up my dryer, but this has been a really common problem lately.
Yeah. The water park looked really cool. It was not open
Yeah.
yet for the season when we were there, or I don't know if it was COVID or just not for the season, but it wasn't open yet. There's also big like a big area where they have like rock wall climbing structures and stuff
Yeah,
that had not opened yet for the season.
It looked like a lot of the things that they have that you can do, again, that keep you in the campground or keep the community coming to the park, just weren't open yet. And I'm suspecting that's either that Memorial Day thing where nobody opens anything until Memorial Day, or it could still be that they just can't open yet because of COVID. It looks awesome, though. I mean, and there's also over in the playground area where there's also a pavilion that can be rented out, there is a splash pad as well that was also not open, but that was because they were doing a ton of work on it, like laying a whole new surface down. So
Overall, it's a very big county park, and I think this is something a lot of us forget when we're planning our travels is to look at local parks and not, look, there's a lot of like county forest preserves across the country that are fantastic, and we're always looking at like the national forests and the national parks and the BLM land and all that sort of stuff, and then forgetting about some of these county and city run places that can be just as wonderful.
I think we do a hierarchy of federal, state, county, city, private.
Yeah.
And we don't do that because we think private is any less than, but it's really usually cost. And so we usually start with the federal, then we make our way down, and then it's like, okay, we're going with the private. That's usually how that happens. So again, like we said, we didn't really leave this campground, but we did venture out one night to have dinner outside on a patio on a beautiful Monday night at Fam's Brewing Company, which is only about 2 miles from the campground. And we enjoyed some local South Carolina beer and some local to us Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, it was actually completely surprising that there was kind of
Yeah.
a Chicago themed restaurant owned by people that obviously were from Chicago because they had the Cubs playing and stuff on the
That was
walls and
fun.
were making Chicago style pizza. So that was all kind of really cool surprise for us.
I think that's also where Jack will always be able to say that was when his love for a Stromboli began.
Yes.
Was
yes.
right there.
Now he eats strombolis and calzones.
Yeah, which
and those
are
things are expensive.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, and he will eat a whole one. Welcome to the life of trying to feed a teenager.
Kid weighs 80 pounds and is 10 feet tall, but he'll
Yeah.
eat a whole calzone.
If only I had his metabolism.
So that James Island County Park, the whole James Island area is a really cool part of Charleston, and it would be a great place to be a camping site to visit Charleston.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just not where we because we knew when we moved from there we were heading to another park, which would be a little bit better for us for another 2 weeks in the Charleston area. So we just kind of took our time.
We knew it wasn't going to have the amenities here. It's certainly, blown us away in other respects, but we knew for the kids that was such a great vibe that we thought, okay, we're going to stay here. And also a nice thing about James Island too, one other thing is, again, between restaurants and grocery Publix and a few other places, you only have to go a couple miles outside of the campground. Everything you need is right there. So it's one of those campgrounds that I would consider. I go there for vacation and we hang out, a family vacation, and we stay there.
I actually got my haircut there, which is...
You did.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but this is the first time I had a haircut since my brain surgery, the guy that cut my hair before that.
Yeah, when he just did a solid buzz job on ya.
Yeah, and, because of the pandemic and stuff, I've been cutting my own hair.
I know. Well, one of us has had a haircut. This gal would like to go get a haircut, but I'm feeling a little nervous about it still because there's a debate whether or not I'm just going to cut it all off. I'm still having that.
Is there?
Well, not between you and I, because you would prefer that I don't. But this lady over here is thinking she wants a long bob.
Mom cut.
I got Kate +8. Gotta go get it.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have our Fresh Tank, Black Tank segment. See you in a minute.
We'll be right back.
Electrical surge protection is one of the cheapest insurance policies you can provide for your RV, and the Power Watchdog Smart Surge Protector, made by Hughes Autoformers, beats the competition with field replaceable surge modules. With other brands, when the surge protector takes a large surge or a spike, you have to throw it away. The Power Watchdog can be brought back to life with one small, affordable part you can replace yourself. They'll even give you a free surge module in the first 2 years, and now they have a lifetime limited warranty. Use the coupon code RVMiles, all one word, for 10% off your order at HughesAutoformers.com. That's code RVMiles for 10% off at HughesAutoformers.com. Travel season is upon us, and along with all the fun travel planning, you unfortunately have to plan for the not so fun stuff, like an RV tire blowout. You're driving down a highway and you hear an explosion. You just had a high-speed blowout. Your nerves are shot, and you try to remember what kind of tire protection you have. When you have an RV tire blowout or a flat, many tire and wheel programs deal with it through a reimbursement. The RVer has to source an appropriate tire, find a tow truck to take them to the shop, or find someone who can change it on the side of the road, and then pay for those services up front in the hopes of a timely reimbursement without hassle. CoachNet's Hazard Protect is sign and drive coverage. If you experience a blowout on your RV due to a road hazard, you only need to call CoachNet and then sign for services rendered. CoachNet takes care of the rest. That's what CoachNet and their vision of carefree RVing is all about. Simplicity for the customer in an extremely stressful situation. CoachNet Hazard Protect is the RVer's best option to handle an RV tire blowout. Hazard Protect can be purchased through a CoachNet participating dealership, or you can request a quote at cn.rvmiles.com. That's cn.rvmiles.com. It's now time to check the level of our tanks. Abby, what is in your black tank this week?
It will come as no surprise that the gas shortage is getting my black tank this week.
And it hit us here.
It did, because we are moving on Sunday, the day that this podcast comes out. We are moving to our next campground, and we wanted to obviously have enough fuel in order to do that, and we weren't quite sure that was going to happen.
How many stations did you go to before you fueled up? 4 or 5?
4 or 5, and I just so happened to, I think, find one that was like tucked away. And even that one was only down to 2 working pumps.
Now, since we have gone out and we have seen that some stations have reopened, but others haven't yet.
Yeah. Can I give my example of what I think this whole thing is that I told you about today? Because I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, this is going to be
is
real niche for some of you.
Yeah, it's real niche. But I equate this whole thing to Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing. If you have seen that play, read that play, watched that movie, then you know what I'm talking about. The gas station and the pipeline, okay, that's Hero and Claudius, okay? They're like star-crossed. There's been some confusion. Don John, who is they're the hackers in this whole thing. They've come in and they've created a scenario in which these two now are separate from each other, okay? They can't get together. The individuals who need to take plastic bags and go fill up their fuel, well, they're the Dogberry of this situation, okay? They're the ones that we're looking at going, what on earth are you doing, okay? The Don Pedros, the Beatrices, and the Benedicts, and everybody else in the play, well, we're all the other people standing around going, what is going on? There's a gas shortage about nothing. Okay, like it's all going to work itself out. And this is why I just sometimes my head wants to explode when I think about some of the behavior that we exhibit as humans.
Yep.
This was Much Ado About Nothing, and Shakespeare called this behavior 600 years ago. Okay? So there was no shortage. We had a little dip. And a lot of people were inconvenienced because a lot of people went and took gas that they don't need. And guess what? You can't return gas. So you bought all that, and I hope you enjoy it.
All right, what's in your fresh tank?
So my fresh tank is a band that Jack turned us on to that I absolutely love. You should go listen to this album. The band is called AJR and the album is called OK Orchestra. And so this is three brothers, okay, that are this band, and their music is so fantastic. And I'm gonna like whisper, we're surprising Jack with tickets to this concert for his birthday, and I might be more excited than he is. Like, this is such a good album. And if this is like any indication of where we're moving, sort of like in the modern sphere of popular music, I am so here for it because it's so good. Even you like it, and you don't like anything written before like 1998 or after 1998.
That's not true.
That is.
It's kind of true.
I was going to say, can you name me like what? Even the country channels, you will only listen to prime country.
2000s country is terrible.
I know. I don't think you could probably run all the bands from like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and maybe a little into the 90s. Like after Ace of Base, you started to like. You're like, okay, I've now reached the pinnacle of the 90s. I'm a fan of Ace of Base. I got to get out. Oh my God. But this is a great album. Word for the grown-ups who might have little ears with them. This is a few of the songs you probably don't want the teeny tiny little ears listening to. We do allow Jack to listen to it. But some of the songs have like one little bad word in them, and you might want to skip that song.
It's good stuff.
It's really good stuff. All right, Jay, what is in your black tank this week?
My black tank is whatever sort of ailment has inflicted me over the last couple of days. I think it was food poisoning. It still is. I don't know. You're seeming to feel a little bit of it. I think I got a lot worse, but I don't need to describe it. Don't need to talk about it.
No,
it's
good.
just bad. And it's really the first time I've really been sick in a long time. And
a very long time.
Uncomfortable.
Boy, wow, when you go sick, you go sick. It's been a tough 24 hours. What is in your fresh tank this week?
My fresh tank is our new internet setup, which we've actually had for a while now. We've been testing this internet system from a company called TravelData or TravelData, depending on how you like to pronounce that word. But those of you that have listened to us for a while know that we travel with several different carriers. We have our Verizon phones, and we have an AT&T hotspot that is sort of a grandfathered thing that hasn't been available for a while, but works decently for us. And now we have this TravelData system, and it runs on T-Mobile. And it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, we nothing is perfect, which is why we carry three different carriers, because all the carriers have their positives and negatives. And T-Mobile and Sprint, they have smaller networks than AT&T and Verizon. But the thing is that because their networks are smaller, I feel like they focused more on some of the rural areas which happen to be where a lot of campgrounds are sometimes. So sometimes this is the only thing that works. And when it works, it's fantastic. It's unlimited, unthrottled. It ranges between 55 and I think 79 a month. 55 is for 4G and the 79 is for the LTE. And the main difference there is you get standard definition video versus high definition video, and you get a better router, which has antennas that are high powered, which I think has definitely made a difference. And you can also pull them off and attach a bigger, stronger antenna to them. And so you get the router, and a lot of these there are a lot of companies out there that resell data like this company, and often they're selling either T-Mobile, Sprint, or AT&T, usually not Verizon. And a lot of them, obviously your service from T-Mobile is going to be the same through all of them. What's going to matter is what you're paying, what the device is and what the device costs. So it's a really good device with really strong antennas. But the big plus with this company is that you get to keep the device. A lot of them, you're renting the device and you have to pay an upfront fee of like $300. And then you have to return the device when you're done. So you pay $300 and then a monthly fee that could be like $100. And then you have to return the device when it's over, or you get charged something else. With this company, they give you the device. They have 3 different options to choose from. One's battery powered and one's the wired one like we have with the big antennas. And you pay, I think, $210 to start up, but you get to that price includes the device. So you could stop working with this company and put a different SIM card in later on down the road, and you still have a router that works really well.
Yeah, and to give an idea of just how well it works for us and just our lifestyle, we have had, and we tested this out, we had 1 kid on Minecraft, 2 kids, Minecraft online, 2 kids playing Roblox online. Then you were uploading to YouTube. And then I was just bouncing all over the internet doing work and stuff. And nobody was lagging.
Yeah, no. Well, we can have the kids can be watching something in HD while we watch something else in HD. Mm-hmm. It works really well. It's our internet 90% of the time.
Yeah.
If it's working, we're on it. There's a percentage of time where it doesn't work, and we're on our Verizon phones, which are ridiculously expensive, or we're on the old AT&T, which is no longer available. So if we didn't have those other options, this would cover us most of the time, and then we would just run out to Starbucks or whatever. If we had this a couple years ago, when we didn't have those other options available, this actually would have been a major help to us.
It would have been great. So I've been pleasantly surprised by it, and I appreciate them reaching out to us and wanting us to check this out, because this is a question that everybody wonders about, ourselves included. How do you do this? How do you stay connected as more and more people want to get on the road to be able to work and travel? How do you stay connected in order to do that? And we are here to tell you, our opinion is that you need a lot of options in order to do that. And it's really nice now to have TravelData as a solid option for getting that done.
Their website is traveldata.page. And another difference is whether they're the company is responsive and they have good customer service. And we've had lots of conversations with them, and they seem to be quick and great. But honestly, we've never had a need in the couple months we've had this now to talk to them or anything. It has worked consistently
We
fine.
Plugged it in and we just started using all the internet, and it was great.
Sometimes these are done through not the most legal suspect ways with the other company, with the carrier. So sometimes the carrier ends up shutting people down and stuff like that. And it's nice to work with a company that knows what they're doing, and they're doing this honestly through T-Mobile in a way that works consistently.
Yeah, so if you would like to check them out and see if this is something that would work for you, we will link to this in the show notes at rvmiles.com/196.
All right, it is time to wrap this up with a new brain teaser. How about?
Yes, how about it?
My first describes when 2 objects collide. My second, a pass or fail will decide. My third has an IQ on the low side. My whole will keep you safe for your new ride. What am I? We'll have the answer to that and a whole lot more on next week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, we will. And as we ask every single week, if you are enjoying RV Miles, would you please head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a 5-star review? Your review is helping to put RV Miles in front of a whole new generation of listeners. So thank you so much for helping us out with that. A couple things we want to remind you of. RV Miles has a store on Amazon where we have gone back and listed all of the things from our past gear guides, holiday guides, items that we have reviewed, items that we love. If you're looking for something that we've talked about and it's sold on Amazon, it is at amazon.com/shop/RV Miles. And if you're looking for a deal that we have talked about. We have a few offers for promo codes, coupon codes from certain brands. If you're looking for those, we have a place for you now over at rvmiles.com. It's right there on the menu bar. It says deals. Click on that and you will see everything that we currently offer in a promo code or coupon code fashion. Thank you so much for listening this week. Connect with Jason and I over at the RV Miles Facebook group or at editor@rvmiles.com. And until next week, be well, stay safe, and keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.